This programme was made with support from the National Lottery Heritage Fund. On the Heritage Channel tonight, we visit churches, pubs, graveyards, festivals, museums and go down docks. Happy New Year and welcome to our first episode of 2025. Over the last year we visited some inspiring places and met some fascinating people that represent the proud history of our coastal community. Here are some of the highlights.
This is the historic part of the Port of Grimsby. It's a horseshoe shape, and we call this whole historic area the Casbah. But right now we're going down Auckland Road. So all the streets on the port are named after the directors of the railway, so that's the Manchester, Sheffield, Lincolnshire Railway, or they were engineers associated with the building of the port, the secretaries, the solicitors. What is great when you come down here is despite the fact it's undergone so many changes, it still has a strong story to tell through those street names, but also through these wonderful old buildings that we've got left.
Alfred Enderby's have been smoking fish here on the docks for over 100 years. Its award-winning products have been praised by local chefs, discerning diners and international restaurateurs. Current custodian of this historic artisan food producer is the appropriately named Patrick Salmon.
Alfred Enderby have been smoking fish here in this traditional smokehouse for over 100 years. Prior to that it was a smithies and it was converted over 100 and probably 10 years ago into a smokehouse. And this really is a specialist operation, and I wanted to preserve its character, preserve its uniqueness, and I saw the potential. Alfred Enderby is a protected food name. There aren't many protected food names in the whole country, and Grimsby has a protected food name, which is Grimsby Traditional Smoked Haddock.
So we was the first, I think one of the first to be approached. We wasn't actually approached for a building, we was approached for a mural. We got chatting and they discovered that we were a little bit more than just an arts organisation. They liked that. They said that there's a place for that down here, pick a building. So they drove me around the docks. I was like a kid in a sweet shop, I think. So I was like, I just said, can you give me one where the roof's not falling down? And they gave us this one. When we came in here, it'd been empty 25 years. It was in a real mess. So it was like, right, okay. Rolled our sleeves up and we're still at it now.
The Petersons project consists now of two buildings that the Great Grimsby Ice Factory Trust has taken on long lease from ABP.
Funded by the National Lottery, the Architectural Heritage Fund, North East Lincolnshire County Council and Historic England to restore a gorgeous 19th century traditional smokehouse in the centre of Grimsby Docks, and another wonderful late 19th century, early 20th century building that is opposite the new fish docks, and restore them to their former glory and bring them back into use as something that is meaningful to people who work on the docks now, and hopefully encourage more people to come back onto the docks.
This is Grimsby Cemetery, a sprawling graveyard in the heart of the town and home to over 500 war graves dedicated to the men and women who gave their lives during the wars. 291 of these graves are from the First World War, many of them belonging to seamen who served with the Auxiliary Patrol. Operating out of Grimsby, the Auxiliary Patrol was an anti-submarine initiative which saw British fishing trawlers commandeered to patrol the waters around the British Isles, many of them from Grimsby and the surrounding areas. The There's a further 261 war graves from the Second World War, with over 200 of them forming a war graves plot. There's also another 17 war burials of other nationalities, and most of them are German prisoners of war from the camp at nearby Wheelsby. Hey up, duck, what'll it be? Usual? Coming right up. Hey, and when you've enjoyed your pint, why not come with me for a tour of some of the oldest pubs in Cleethorpes? Drink up then. Hey, and no funny business, otherwise you'll be out. Dodgy accent aside, well, for now anyway, we begin our tour here at Cleethorpes railway station, where you'll find the #1 pub, located on platform 1 of the railway station.
We believe that this building, built by the railway company in 1863, is the most important historical building in Cleethorpes by a mile. First of all, it was the railway company that saved Cleethorpes and built the resort. Secondly, this building is the only one of its kind left.
Did you know that the oldest surviving pub in Grimsby is the White Hart, dating back to the 18th century? By the mid-1800s, it was one of more than 30 pubs within the town centre, and its popularity continued right into the mid-20th century. But it hasn't always been a pub. Originally, the White Hart was a private residence, and over the years, it's also been a bank, a home for refugee Belgian nuns during the Second World War. It's also been briefly a girls' school, and it's rumoured to be haunted.
Did you know that in the 1930s, Waltham had a small commercial airfield, which later became Grimsby Municipal Airport? With war looming, the Air Ministry took over the airfield in 1938 as a training ground for the RAF Volunteer Reserve. By 1940, mission huts began to appear around the village as Waltham became the home of 142 Squadron. The first operation was on the 30th of November when a Wellington bomber took off for Germany. By this time, the airfield was called RAF Grimsby. They were replaced in 1942 by 100 Squadron, whose 16 Lancaster bombers joined hundreds of other planes in nighttime bombing raids over Germany, some as much as 6 hours flying time away. During operations from the airfield in World War II, 116 Lancasters and 48 Wellingtons, a total of 164 aircraft from the station, were lost. In 1114, an existing religious building on the site was transferred to the Bishop of Lincoln. In the following years, he supervised many renovations and developments to the building, resulting in St. James, a church containing a nave with 6 bays. A central tower was added in 1365, and in 1586, St. James became the parish church of Grimsby.
They renewed or built for the first time the tower. And unusually, we know the date exactly because the inscription saying, "Please pray for the soul of John Ingston, who built it," and what the date was, is inscribed on one of the piers behind me. Grimsby's got 2 ancient church buildings. What's labelled as Marygate area of Grimsby was the other parish church. It was bigger, and it was the town's parish church. And this big church was the second one, and ended up being transferred not so much to the bishop as to Wellow Abbey.
Sheltered by a corpse of mature trees, the parish church of St Giles with St Matthew is an oasis of calm and tranquility in the busy suburb of Scartho. Addition and modifications, including the medieval nave, Victorian chancel and north aisle, added as late as 1955, have been tastefully integrated into the original architectural style. The expansive churchyard provides a majestic setting for this magnificent building and peaceful setting for local people to remember loved ones. The gravestones in this well-tended space include many reminders of the church's historic past.
Well, as you arrive to the town hall, as you look on the right-hand side, you'll actually see quite an interesting picture of one of our former mayors, Councillor George Mitchell. There's two ways of looking at it. It's very cleverly done. So there's a picture with him just in the mayoral chains, and as you look to the side, you can actually see him in his mayoral garb and his robes. You can see some boards from RAF Northcotes, and they show the people, sadly, who'd lost their lives during the Second World War. Downstairs we now have the registrars, and they deal with all the registry births, deaths, marriages for North East Lincolnshire. Building, as you come up the main stairs, you'll see the boy with the leaking boot, which is synonymous with Cleethorpes, gifted to us many years ago. That is actually the original boy with the leaking boot, used to be on the seafront, was returned here. There is a copy of the boy with the leaking boot on the seafront. And as you come up either side of the stairs, you'll see portraits of mayors from 1974 through to 1996.
So today's event is at Freeman Street Market, and it's great to see all the Vikings here, and I'm absolutely thrilled, for Grimfell Fest, the big festival, to see this legacy now, to see how Grimsby folk have embraced the Viking identity, to see Grim here with Havelock right in the heart of Grimsby on Freeman Street. Everybody enjoying it. It's absolutely wonderful.
I'm Joe Waters, played for Grimsby Town from 1976 to 1984. Had a great times, great memories. The town of Grimsby and town of Cleethorpes were buzzing at the time. It was a great, great time to be here and to live here.
For the second season winner. Town has made his run already, and Seasman played a...
There's a few favourite matches. The most favourite was the Third Division Championship game that we played here on Brundle Park against Sheffield United. When we saw the fixture list, we were so excited about that game. We thought what a great end to the season it would be if they were going for the championship and we were going for promotion. We'd have a full house and it'd be a great occasion. If we win the Third Division Championship. And we beat them 4-0.
I'm Dave Worthington, played for the club between 1966 and 1973.
I'm Alan Woodward, I came in 1970, I played for the club 1970 to 73, and I'm unique really, I was injured longer during that period than I actually played.
It was a fantastic season after some of the troubles we'd been in. As soon as Laurie came, everything changed completely. It was a different way of management. It just took us from mediocrity to top of the league. Superb.
So today is the third edition of Edible Grimsby, which is a celebration of community, art and food. It's going great. We've got all sorts going on. There's free food tasting, which is all community produce that's been grown and made by the community. So there's some gorgeous jam chutney and all kinds of sauces. That's going great in the tasting tent. We've got lots of food stalls from local street food vendors, and they're ever popular. There's lots of queues and everybody's feasting on all of the food. We've got some amazing live performances and street theatre from National Touring Theatre, also the Made in Grimsby stage, which is homegrown talent, and then circus skills and walkabout, street theatre, all kinds of stuff.
What's really special about our museum is that when you come in, you're able to go on a trawlerman's journey, which means that you can experience what a trawlerman would have experienced when they were going on a fishing trip. You start off at the signing on office where you go and sign on for your trip, and then you take the journey of that trawlerman all the way through from their home in their backyard through actually stepping onto the ship with the skipper waving you on as you come on, into a radio room. The radio room's got all the radio equipment that they would have had on the ship, and a lot of the things that we actually have on display in the museum, because of the time period when the museum was built in the late 80s, early 90s, a lot of the trawlers in Grimsby were being scrapped. So the museum was lucky enough to actually get real objects from the ships to include into the exhibition spaces. So it's really unique and something you probably couldn't do now.
Airfields was given to the people of Louth in 1907, and it's remained available to them ever since. Successive councils took it over and run it, and then latterly the Airfields Trust has run it. So the river coming down is a chalk stream river, which basically drains off the Lincolnshire Wolds and comes down through Airfields and subsequently through the town of Louth. But behind us we have the duck pond area, as we know it, which is a large area where the sort of end of Airfields really. So many families over the years have really spent lots of time here feeding the ducks. It's almost a general pastime when you come to Airfields.
A few years ago there was that disaster with the riding school. People don't realise how dangerous our coastline is. Yeah.
That was me in 1988. The vessel I was on turned over in a hurricane, about 200 miles off Grimsby, the middle of nowhere. I managed to get away from it, and so did the other two crew, and the vessel sunk.
Yeah, the Pentland Firth, because we have to go through there as a shortcut to go to Iceland. Now, the Pent is the most treacherous waterway in the world.
Well, the Pentland Firth has been one or two disasters at Leicestershire. Leicestershire lost all the crew.
The Leicester City.
The Leicester City. Yeah. There's been quite a few disasters there of Grimsby trawlers.
We got hit with the sea in the Pentland Firth and it spun us round. The skipper decided to cut out and we was 2 days added to our journey. And everybody had white trousers on, but they had brown ones on. When things like that happen.
My name's Danielle Brighton, I'm Grimsby Town Women's Captain. Here somewhat from the start. I came in December, I believe, 2019, so I am an OG but not an OG. But yeah, it's been brilliant to see how the club has transformed over that time, and I think we're just in a really sweet space now where we really feel backed by the club, and we want that to continue.
Massively important to the town. It's just like so big for all these girls here today to see that a women's team can get this platform and get noticed, and we've had 535 people here today to watch us, so yeah, a record attendance, which is massive, not just for the club but like I say for the town.
With Polly, she loves women's football. She comes from women's football, she breathes women's football, and she's always at the games as well. You know, she takes time out of her probably very busy calendar to come down and watch the games, even when we're at Airfields, which is brilliant.
From coming as a kid, sitting in the stands at the pontoon, like, it's amazing to then be on the other side of it. It's a really good occasion for all the girls.
We hope you enjoyed this look back at 2024. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel or join our Facebook group to make sure you don't miss any of our programmes. For more information on Litfest 25 and the activities taking place here in Grimsby during February, visit our webpage. From everyone at the Heritage Channel, thank you for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the coming months for more Heritage news, views and local stories. This programme was made with support from the National Lottery Heritage Fund.